It is a new session of our Poker Time Cash game. We're playing 5-10.
That's Joseph, although it says the Rooster, and also he's not under the gun, so great start.
Oh, Alma.
But we're going to keep the Rooster, I think. We're just going to fix it so that Digital Dan is under the gun here.
Just in case you're wondering, the players get to choose their own name, so Joseph chose the Rooster.
Yeah, we didn't.
It's a great name.
There is Matt Vaughan, famed vlogger. He has played before on the show about a year ago.
Yep. That was Mo. He's a new player. He's the only guy who hasn't played in our game before, including Matt Vaughan.
There's Stuart, DM5.
And here's the Rooster. He's going to pump it up with the ace-7 off.
The Rooster's here to cock-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah.
Mo's here to limp call. So far what we know about Mo is he's relatively passive so far.
I mean, one hand, but yep. And
DM5 doing what DM5 does.
Play a million hands.
Yep. Well, this board really kind of sucks for Joseph / the Rooster.
Agreed.
Although nobody likes it, but it's very reasonable to not c-bet this board with the ace-7 off here. Picks up the 7, and
he does have the best hand.
Now that DM5 is checked twice, Joseph might think that he can bet this for equity protection. Decides against.
The 9 of diamonds, if it checks through here, would be devastating for Mo.
Mo is going to protect his equity.
Yep.
Reasonable.
DM5 with only the gutter.
He's known to do some crazy stuff, but maybe he's going to let himself get a feel for the table a bit before
also,
he does
new player. You know, feel for the player. Joseph's going to call, protect himself. He's going to protect himself from, he's not just going to fold.
From cockroaches and bears.
Yeah, he's the Rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Check, check. That's a pretty nice pot to win on hand 1 with ace-7 off when that's the flop.
Agreed.
And it goes to showdown.
Agreed again.
Pretty sweet.
I don't hate Mo's bet on the turn, I got to say.
No.
I think it's fine.
No, I agree.
He's protecting his equity. In case you're wondering what he's protecting. He's not protecting, like, the royalty of, a country. He's protecting his equity.
He might be doing both. Give him some credit.
Well, you know what? I don't know what he does in his off time.
The Slovenian royal family relies on Mo for protection.
Possibly.
Yeah.
That's just speculation, though.
I mean,
we don't know which royal family
you're only
it is.
saying that so you don't get sued.
Yeah. I don't like getting sued. Been sued.
I have not been sued.
I haven't been sued.
Here's BMW Blake.
Hey.
You have to be a Deep Cuts Poker Time fan to know BMW Blake. It's been a while since he's been on. Here's the Rooster with jacks. He is going to raise jacks.
He never raises jacks.
Maybe because he's out of position.
Small blind, yeah.
And Blake's going to do the old limp call with the ace-9 off. Grant loves that.
At least he's in position. And he does outflop the Rooster, who will continue. Blake has a super easy spot here to call.
Should really slow down the Rooster.
Oh,
never mind.
Card. Suddenly, Rooster's hoping Blake has a ace-jack. Hard for him to have that. Maybe ace-5, ace-4.
Blake has already called. That's good news.
Oh, bad.
Okay, so the Rooster's getting paid. Blake should probably not raise, right? The Rooster could have ace-jack. If Blake raises, he's just hoping that
ace-king calls.
Ace-king or ace-5 or ace-4.
I'm not sure if I don't know if ace-king's going to even call a raise. He gets called instantly.
Yep, it worked. This time. Joseph, I hope that you win this hand. Thanks, bud.
Rooster went for pretty strong value there on the river, by the way. 350 and about 400.
This is how you want to start a session.
Yeah. Pretty unlucky turn card for the BMW man.
And river card.
Yep, that's true.
He may have paid off anyway, but it was a guaranteed payoff.
Yeah, there's no way. You're never getting away from it when the 9 hits. I don't see how you could. Big sizing, though, sucks. Right? Although you never raise then. It's easy not to raise, at least. I don't know. That's all I got. Here's Matt Vaughan.
Unless you want to bluff him off of jacks.
Matt Vaughan, known for his vlogs and his haircuts.
And the extra A in his name that's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, talk about irrelevant.
You're Stewie Younger.
Oh,
yep.
so
Not Unger, younger, because he is younger than Stewie Younger was at some point.
I mean, I don't know. Are you younger than dead people? Or are you just in a different category?
Oh, you're younger.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for asking, and that's the answer. Okay. 10s for Digital Dan. The whole world gets to see this flop, but Dan holds.
Doesn't love the paired eights, but it's a lot better than the old ace king queen flop.
Stewart very reasonably could continue here, but chooses not to. Interestingly enough,
DM5 gonna DM5 it up. He could easily have an 8 in his hand.
there is 0% chance he's gonna get Digital Dan off a hand like 2 10s though.
No, I think Dan will be calling. These guys have a little bit of history as well, where Dan's gonna hero a lot.
Stewart gets out of the way. There's not much he can beat now.
That's true.
It's a great card for Digital Dan.
It is a nothing card. Now, if DM5 bets again, all of his value beats Dan.
That seems to be the case, yes. He is going to bet again.
Maybe he could have 2 9s and bet again for value.
Maybe.
But this is a pretty small bet as well. I don't think Dan can consider folding.
No chance.
And maybe a heart Dan could consider folding.
Oh, what a devastating river.
Not only is it a heart, which is scary for Dan, but it actually makes him lose the hand in a different way.
It being a heart is good for Dan, though, right? That means DM5 has to be betting basically just gutters and air. Turns out it was air, but
if he goes for value
higher.
here, that's pretty above the rim. I think this is just going to be a check from DM5.
Yeah. He knows. It's so hard to get called. Now
Now he
Dan has a
can-
hand that could call him. But
Now he can sheepishly turn over his hand.
I can see there's Dan. Yeah, yep. That's what happens when you're Digital Dan.
It seems to be.
Man, DM5 just barreling his way into a nice pot. Wow.
Sometimes it works out if you see all the cards with ace-6 off, you know?
Dan's a little unlucky. Stewart could have very reasonably c-bet that 8-8-4 board with 2 5s.
Yeah, and DM5 just folds.
And Dan gets to call and win.
Yeah. Stewart upgraded it to 2 6s. DM5 could have anything.
He
That's
downgrades slightly.
Another bad ace.
I mean, if
unsuited.
It seems like he just makes all of this work so often lately anyway.
Yeah.
Keeps turning chicken shit into chicken salad.
Right, exactly.
So we'll see if he can keep it up, though. Well, it's going to be tough on this board.
Yeah, this is a set for Stewart. Unfortunately for him, nobody else has anything.
Yeah. He'd love for someone to have
Not even a
9.
backdoor flush draw
Well,
for Matt Vaughan.
Yeah, backdoor flush draw for DM5, but the worst one.
Yeah.
And, of course,
Stewart, a little bit sad there.
So big, he has to sit so far back from me. He has to sit 10 feet away from me.
I don't know if you saw that last hand. Maybe you should
He's
check.
sending the whole card.
DM5 might just be taking shots. For Stewart.
What else is there?
He fired into
Yeah.
3 opponents with nothing.
it's true. It's true. It's a reasonable idea. That was a reasonable board to do it on, too.
Yeah.
Sounds like Morse code.
But DM5 will, raise anyway a lot and call anyway a lot. So it's not crazy to bet when you have strong value.
True. Stewart with another great hand for opening.
DM5 just playing everything. Let's see what he has this time.
Maybe it's a good hand.
Nope.
Nope. 9-7 off. It's going to hurt the Rooster. Going to block one of his sets.
Yeah.
Mo going to call in the big blind with the suited queen.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yep.
He is going to need 6s, a bunch of 6s or diamonds or something.
Well,
There's
there's
a
1
6.
6. There's also an 8, so that gives an up and down draw to
For-
DM5.
yeah.
The Rooster with a pair and a gut shot with his 2 7s.
5 would be bad for the Rooster, of course.
He could raise this right now, especially against DM5.
Yeah.
Calling is, of course, also reasonable. But
Folding
there's
seems bad.
a ton of bad cards in the turn, so I don't hate a raise.
He looks like he's just going to let it go with all the people behind him.
That seems a little bit conservative.
55 times.
And everyone gets out of the way, and DM5 just gets to win. Wow.
So the Rooster, not the Rooster, excuse me, Mo folds correctly with the Queen 6 there, although I don't think it was the right fold over time against DM5, where he hits middle pair.
When you say folds correctly, what do you mean?
I mean, he was correct in that. Oh, that
was
wasn't
ahead.
correct. I was
Yeah.
thinking about the Rooster's hand.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was
Both of-
incorrect.
yeah.
It's a weird
So I
fold.
was asking.
Yeah.
The Rooster hand is a little weird when he's got the gutter, and it's a good board for him. And DM5's the guy who's most likely
Yeah.
to be betting into the world with nothing. Still, it's tough when you got all the guys behind you, I guess. Stewart with 4th straight raising hand. DM5 finally gets out of the way.
9-4 off. It's enough to get him to fold.
And El Digitale.
Stop cheating, Mo.
Mo better hope the last ace does not show up.
Well, he's got the suited wheel. Good things could happen.
Oh, yeah, no, he's got a reasonable hand. Well, the last ace did not show up. It's top pair for Blake.
And a gut shot for Stewart and for Digital Dan. Tough to bet into the world of Stewart here.
Yeah, he does have the queen of clubs, which is a possible, trapdoor to get out of jail with.
Sure, all those things.
Hey, Storm makes
how
the
about
nuts.
getting out of jail with making the nuts?
Oh, and Mo makes the nut flush draw on the turn with the Broadway redraw. It's pretty big.
It is. It
wow.
is. Digital Dan is a pair and the redraw, although it's not a very comfortable. Blake gets to get away for cheap here.
Surely Stewart's going to raise right now with this one aboard.
I mean,
when he has the nuts and a
Mo
queen
could have
is
a queen.
Very, yeah,
Mo could
exactly.
have a queen. Dan could have a queen.
You have to try and get value right now from a queen before scary cards come on the river and build the pot as well. He does raise. Completely reasonable.
Mo cannot fold with this hand.
No.
Probably shouldn't be raising on this board, though. I don't think he has a ton of fold equity.
It's not great when Stewart checks the flop and raises the turn when he really doesn't have to, So I think mostly we should just be calling here. It's pretty good price to call, actually, considering all your outs. Mo looks like he reached a little deep, though.
Nah, I think that's a call. Those are green
there we
chips.
go. There we go.
Yeah, I think that's the right move.
He had some black chips in there for a second, but he put them back. He was thinking about making it 325 there.
75.
And
board pair, Mo can just comfortably check fold here. Stewart doesn't love the board pairing. Mo certainly could have full houses in his range as played.
Yep.
He would play any 9-pair hand like this, 9 king, 9 10, 9 jack.
Stewart wouldn't fold, though, when Mo only has 700 back.
200.
Stewart has to go for value. Just has to try and get value out of a queen here.
I think you should just move in. 400. So goes for most of Mo's stats.
He doesn't want Mo to talk himself into folding a queen, I guess.
Mo obviously can't call with ace high.
Yep. That was a pretty whack turn there. That was the one outer for Mo that really forces him to stick around.
Yeah. Poker sometimes feels unfair.
Yeah. Sometimes you're starting, you just flop a set, then you turn the nuts, and everything holds. Or you're DM5 and you just go barrel, hit the ace on the river.
Or you're
Just
Digital
easy.
Dan and you just lose all the time. The ace comes on the river against you,
Yep.
Check.
This is a hand the Rooster could
Oh.
open, but he's feeling a little tight right now.
It's a bit of a surprise. We're only 8-handed even to start with. He was
Right.
not under the gun. Blake's going to play the 8-deuce off.
Could just fold that.
Yep, out of position. You could just give Stewart $5, but he chooses not to, and he does have, 2 backdoors.
Yeah, pretty sweet. Stewart's just going to take his equity.
Blake's going to check again,
Not really a pot worth fighting for.
and Blake's just, conceding the pot, basically.
That's that poker time excitement that we're all here for.
I mean, you need the quiet moments to make the big ones feel bigger. If everything's, a splash, you stop feeling the water when it hits your
Right.
skin. You know what I'm saying?
That's why before every movie that I watch, I like to watch just the black screen for an hour and a half to let myself begin to anticipate what it could be like if there were things on the screen.
You really start to appreciate the acting. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, even in the worst movies.
No snacks or drinks allowed during that hour and a half either. No moving your eyes away from the screen.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you have one of those contraptions they had at the end of the
Keep your eyelids
Clockwork
open.
Orange? Yeah, Clockwork
No,
Orange.
no. I have
Keep
enough.
your-
I have enough discipline. I don't need it.
Oh, good for you.
Thanks. Timur.
Oh, Mo's going to call the queen 9
Ooh.
off.
Well, that's ambitious.
I mean, we see a lot of players. With DM5, of course, is doing things like that all the time.
We just haven't seen Mo do it yet, so I
Yeah.
guess maybe Mo's one of these guys who's going to be playing a lot of hands.
Yeah. Okay, that's... nothing
BMW
wrong with
Blake,
that.
of course, also calling with a very wide hand, but we know that he is the type of guy who plays a lot of hands as well.
Huge flop here for both Mo and BMW
Yeah, a
Blake.
little bit of something for everyone. DM5 with the gut shot, but not much.
So Timur bets 60. You could very reasonably raise here right now as Mo, or you can call.
Yeah,
Can't
I
fold, though.
don't think you're getting Blake to fold.
Oh, no chance. Blake's loving life. He's trying to keep it together.
I think Blake should probably raise right now.
Yep, me too. A lot of bad cards on the turn. 10s, 8s, 9s, all real bad.
Anything above a jack is not great either.
And there's the raise to 180.
This is just a bad spot for Timur. He's probably going to have to let it go.
I think so. It only cost him $60 to find out. And now Mo.
Well, Mo
He's only
has
got 600
a pretty
bucks.
short stack to start the situation, which kind of sucks when you have an open ender.
He could just move in.
He could.
Bet 60.
He's going to call.
He's getting a pretty good price here.
Sure. But, you know, I assume Blake's not going to give him a free card.
And Timur here would have made 2 pair.
Wow.
King Queen just got there. Aces up just got there. It's not Blake's favorite card.
There's only Mo has less than a 1-to-1 stack.
Yeah,
to
I
pot,
mean,
though,
it's
so
absolutely reasonable to move in, but it's certainly not your favorite card if you're Blake. With 1 card to come, I think Mo needs to just let this go.
this is a fold for sure with 1 card to come.
Blake could have King Queen.
Yep. I mean, honestly, Blake
Blake shows
a
a 7.
Wow. Well, now you when he decides to show a 7, you have to think that doesn't mean your 9 or your queen is good. Like
No.
usually it isn't, right? I'd be worried that he has a set of 7s mostly here.
Yep.
Especially when it's you, I call. Especially when it's you, man. Good spot to be in.
Mo with the fuck it and call.
Yep. Well, if he can hit here,
Then it's the definition of a fuck it call if he hits.
he's gonna be up for the session. Up $500 for the session if he just hits king or an 8. There's 6 of them left. That is neither. Ooh, full
And
house for Timur.
Timur would have made 10s full of aces. And I believe that's just going to be a short-lived poker time stint for Mo.
Yeah, he's already unplugging. Apparently, he has signaled to our PA that he is done. Did not take long.
And that's pretty nice of me.
It's extremely nice.
I know.
That's too bad. Hate to lose players that quickly.
Yeah, it's rough.
That's got to be a record, by the way.
Probably.
So, you know, you always have that, Mo.
Except for when we were doing our sit and goes.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
I mean, but in a cash game,
Yeah.
Mo, you did it. Maybe we'll print something out for you. Put on your wall or something.
Yeah. That's a nice start for Blake to the session.
Yep. Really nice.
Blake could have anything here. Having called here. King 9 off. Okay.
You out of here? Oh.
Bunch of garbage hands.
It's all Blake's fault.
You're garbage. How dare you say that?
Sorry.
I'm not saying that I'm not garbage.
Okay, good.
I'm just saying that these hands are garbage.
Okay, that's
the
better.
Rooster makes top pair.
Gutters for the other 2.
Gutsters, I think.
Gutsters for everyone.
Get me a gutster.
It's a small bet, and so everyone gets to call and draw. Well, double gutter now for BMW Blake.
Yep.
Todd's on lockdown. Todd just announced he's on lockdown.
It's not a card the Rooster
Actually-
wanted to see.
Actually, it's a double gutter for both of them, but BMW Blake's drawing to a better straight.
Yeah. The Rooster just gets to win. No aggressive action is taken.
You want him on that wall. You need him on that.
Surprised DM5 decided, I guess being the small blind made it tougher for him, right? If he's in position, he's probably taking a shot at that.
You'd think, knowing him.
Yeah. Well, he gets to have the dealer button in front of him for this hand, so. What mischievous activities will he be up to, do you think?
Well, I think he might, paint his neighbor's house a slightly different color than it is. So
Like,
they're confused.
So subtle, though,
yeah,
they're
they're
not
like,
sure.
wait.
I
I thought it was aquamarine, but
did
it looks a little teal now.
Did it rain or something?
It depends on when my decision was made.
Check.
Philosophical discussion.
We're going to have a battle between Stewart and DM5 at the very least here. DM5 maybe contemplating a 3-bet.
Looked like he was thinking about it. And there it is.
It is a 3-bet. We don't see DM5 3-bet that frequently. At least last session he wasn't 3-betting that frequently. He was just taking a lot of flops.
Yep. I mean, he was doing that in this session, too, to start with, but maybe it's just positionally. Stewart
Maybe.
opens the cutoff. And as you see, Stewart's relatively weak and is going to let it go.
You're not folding.
I wasn't folding at any point.
You're folding for sure.
Never.
King 9 suited. I mean, how does it get better than that? That's a hand.
It's certainly understandable to 3-bet that hand when Stewart opens the cutoff.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I very memorably 3-bet King 9 suited once in a big spot. I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about.
That famous hand against.
There's that one kid though who I did it to who remembers because he's out of that tournament. So am I now, but
That's an incredible story.
Yeah, you won't believe it. There were snakes.
There's always snakes somewhere. It just depends on how close they are to you.
Everyone knows that.
That was a bigger pop than I thought it was. He had more back than I thought he did. Yep. When I shoved, I thought it was like 200 left. Nope. Not 200. Nope.
Fold.
Timur's going to lose this hand unless he hits a deuce.
Feels like it.
Matt hit the nail on the head. Well, I know. I'm saying if the hands aren't up there, I hate that river card.
Okay. On the flop, he has like king queen.
Pretty easy c-bet on this board.
Yeah.
Heads up.
DM5, probably the guy most likely to c-bet on that. I mean, I expect most people to do it, but if anyone's going to do it,
Yeah. But,
it's
of
DM5.
course, deuces is not a hand you really want to continue with against almost anybody.
Of course.
Got me off more than that.
You have 2 pair?
By a lot.
No, you're running full house.
Fold.
Ace 10?
Fold.
That was a bad fold.
Appreciate you, Blake. Thank
That's what friends are for.
So apparently Matt Vaughan does not just poker vlogs, but also he brings his camera to when he gets a haircut to the barber, so he can really talk everyone through his decision making on that as well. Like, and you can see it's paying off. All the comments in the YouTubers probably.
I'm sure Matt Vaughan appreciates you talking over him talking on Poker Time to say that.
At one point in this. Timur, at one point in this.
I mean, how many haircut vloggers are there? There's not very many. He's one of the best. He's not the best, to be fair, but he's one of the better ones.
Let's talk about your driveway first.
No. Driveway's done.
Diamond draw for Timur. Top pair for the DM5.
Here about
See, Matt knows.
Teaser.
that's content.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Exactly. We'll probably have some good stories. We have the day your dad.
So the real question is going to be about, is Timur going to play this passively or not?
It's not really his board.
But DM5 is so wide so
It's
often.
true. It's true.
I feel like this is a good spot to raise.
The deuce pairing is a very bad card for Timur.
Dad tried to shoot me.
DM5, now given confidence that he's usually at least chopping.
Will he fire again, though? Looks like he will.
He could start building the story of getting Timur off of a chop by firing again.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a definite benefit here. It's not going to work on the turn, but if Timur had a weak ace as well, it might work on the river.
Timur decides to call out of position with the 8-6 of diamonds.
It's a small bet. Well,
Gets
he
there, but doesn't get
really
there.
get there. It's a
Yeah.
full house for DM5, and he's never folding. And Timur is not going to be bluffing if he takes an aggressive action, but he's not really going to be getting value from worse hands either.
This
so.
just sucks, because I assume Timur's going to find a check, and DM5's just going to have to bet this,
And
right?
I imagine Timur will just fold.
Yeah. DM5, once again, the one guy at the table, well, not the one guy, but the guy most likely to not have it here. This is where your image gives him a shot to get paid off. But Timur clearly not interested. I will say that after going check, call, a flush is probably not a good hand to call with there against even DM5.
Expert
right?
analysis.
Yeah. Like DM5 knows you either have a flush or a full house.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to be trying to bluff you too often.
I mean, he'd expect the flushes to fold when he bets.
Yeah. But you probably have more full houses than flushes anyway.
Yeah.
Like significantly more. And we just another win. He's just racking them up.
Nice hand for Digital Dan.
95.
That time when you hit your flush and it wasn't good? Yep.
Oh, deuce. I think I'm pretty sure I just folded deuce.
He's
there.
out of
Pretty
trouble.
Sure. We're gonna see on the film. Pretty sure I folded deuce.
You did a couple hands ago, face up.
No.
20 minutes from now, Blake will be calling with that hand.
I think I had it. Pretty sure. We're gonna find
Well,
out.
he said it was really just because it was Dan who was raising. But you're saying 20 minutes from now he's going to be calling with that hand even against the digital one?
Yeah.
All in on the
That could be
over
true.
8 weeks.
Blake's like a runaway train, man.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
I'm in a.
That's
I know.
gone.
I'm in on.
That's
No. Okay. Okay.
5 limping the king 3 of clubs. I can think of one guy out there who thinks that's a good play. That is a deep
That's
cut.
a deep inside joke, and none of you will ever get it.
One person may get that of everyone who's listening. So sorry, everybody else.
Snap fold for influence.
I don't feel comfortable saying who it is.
No, it's not
No.
a good idea. I think we have the action slightly wrong here. I saw some ace queen. I think the Rooster has ace queen.
Well, here's the board, and there's the turn. Open-ender for Stewart. Open-ender for BMW Blake.
Pair for Stewart as well.
Open-ender for DM5. But he has the bad end of it and gets away. He's going to call with the good side of the straight, but misses.
And I think the Rooster would have made top pair here.
Bill, you can come around this way.
There's your check, and Stewart wins
I mean, you can.
$80 in the pot. Now you
buy
may,
stuff with that.
yeah, go get a really cheap stereo.
Just don't pull an LA.
Or a really expensive steak.
How many hamburgers could you buy?
From where?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? From unknown.
I don't know.
Okay, fine. From the Amazon rainforest. How many hamburgers?
Like, what do you have to get them shipped to where I am?
Yeah.
Or do I have to buy a... Okay, at 0.
Assume free shipping.
30
but not handling. Handling still costs you.
How much does it cost?
Well, that's, whatever you think it's going to be.
6.
You can buy 6 hamburgers?
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's just clearly wrong.
A great search result.
Store could 3-bet here, but decides to call.
Oh, I missed.
I guess it really depends on what you're looking for.
It's going to bring in DM5 almost always.
I
when
don't
you
hate
decide
the
to
call against Blake. Blake typically, when entering a pot, will not fold to aggression. Ace 10 off, out of position, doesn't play super well, not very easy to play.
Blake's also going to limp a lot of his hands that that are not super strong, like
Yeah.
his weak aces and stuff like that. So
Stewart now going for value. I don't think he's going to find any.
new.
Yeah, so I thought I'd tell you that because I said that would happen. Well,
Right, I only get 2 cards.
So you know how some guys look like they could just
Where is this going? I have a feeling that it's going to be regrettable, whatever it is.
yeah, should I just stop now? I don't know. I feel like
I think you should stop.
okay.
I'm guessing you're going to insult one of our players.
Yeah. Do you know which one?
No.
Take a guess which one I was
I'm not going to
insult.
even... No, I don't
No,
want
go ahead.
No, I don't want to do that.
I mean, I wouldn't have called it an insult, but it's possible other people might have thought it was an insult.
I
I wasn't going to insult
think you
Matt
could-
Vaughan's hair or
I
anything
think you
like
could
that.
maybe say that about most things that you say.
Yeah, that's true. I was not going to say anything at all about
Here's
Matt Vaughan.
Bill. We've seen him before.
Yep. Bill
He's
actually
min raising with 8-5 off.
Bill's played interestingly in that he has stolen so many pots on this show. Everyone always gives him credit, and he never has it. That's my
Yeah.
memory of Bill.
I am kind of baffled by this min raise.
Yeah, me too.
He flops a gut shot.
BMW Blake flops a great hand.
Yeah, and DM5, of course, with middle pair. Middle pair just going to lead. That is a strange play. Bill's going to call with his gut shot.
Blake
Blake's going to
decides-
overcall. All right. This one's going weird.
Yeah. Blake could have raised right there, but so be it.
Nothing changes here except that DM5 picks up a straight draw.
Is DM5 really going to fire again here? Looks like it. Boy, he's just got chutzpah.
He does.
Chutzpah for days, this guy.
He just goes for it. Is this a mergey bet?
I'm going to say yes, and you know what? It may work out pretty well.
I mean,
he's not folding out Blake,
He
though.
doesn't hate getting folds, that's for sure.
Yeah. Even folding out the 8-5 is not so bad. But, of course, he's not going to fold out Blake on the turn.
Well,
Blake makes the best hand.
I don't
and
think Blake will ever fold if DM5... Maybe if DM5 bets 600, Blake might fold. But
I think, though, right now, DM5 should be checking and letting Blake bet his misdraws
yeah.
rather than...
It looks like DM5
betting.
is going for the bluff here. This is clearly a bluff.
Yeah, he's trying to get him off a 9 or a better 7, I guess. Blake calls instantly.
Yeah.
That is the value of not raising right away on the flop, is when you get there against someone who's going to keep firing.
It's a pretty small bet by DM5, by the way.
185.
Yeah.
It's almost like a blocking bet. Maybe he thinks he can get called by worse sometimes.
That seems impossible.
I mean, all the draws missed, right? Blake also notably does not believe DM5 a lot. Like, he's made very clear proclamations
Yeah,
about
but that's pretty ambitious to...
We've seen Blake make some pretty ambitious calls.
Yes,
For a
but,
lot of money.
I
We've
mean,
seen
to,
that.
To sign that as a
That
value
it's-
bet is kind of crazy.
But 185 isn't it too small to fold out a 9?
He's trying. I think he's leveling.
Maybe.
Aaron probably still has.
I like to see that.
I missed club pretty good.
Min. Oh, he's just gonna call. I was hoping for the min raise again.
Min raise Bill would be his name then, forever. Stewart's going to isolate.
What a great hand to be isolating against. And he gets forced to fold. Joseph just throws away pocket fours.
I don't get it.
He must think Bill's got a lot of limpery raises in him.
He must, because fours clearly have the implied odds to call at the stack depth.
For sure.
I'm saying Rooster was.
Wow, the Rooster.
Cockadoodle not. Am I right?
Cockadoodle don't, I think is what you're looking
Well,
for.
nonetheless, the Rooster up 770.
Yeah, well, remember, he hit that jack on the second hand.
Bill says he's down 1.2K. That's not true. That's because Mo was down 1.2K.
That's Mo's $1,000 that he's down. And maybe Bill's down 200 or some amount. Probably not that much. Yeah, you went to cockadoodle what? What did you say?
Cockadoodle no.
Instead of cockadoodle don't. That's really crazy.
I do what I
It
want.
was right in front of you, man.
I can do what I want. Stewart is going to isolate Blake this time. Got him dominated.
No way Rooster's going to fold this on the button.
What is the Rooster doing today?
I don't understand.
He has come in feeling very tight and conservative.
Wow.
I imagine Blake will call.
For sure Blake's going to call. That is just a shocking fold.
The fours also.
Yep.
Pretty surprising.
This one even more so. And he would have flopped monstrously big.
Yeah, top pair and a flush draw. But instead, it's nothing against nothing.
He would have had all the equity.
Murder me if I went anywhere right now.
Blake, I think, is already folded. Yeah.
What's that? Just tonight. Hey.
Wow. Joseph just didn't want to call a beautiful suited connector on the button deep.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
I mean, everyone plays differently. Joseph sometimes makes folds we don't understand. Sometimes they make calls we don't understand. He's often right. But that is a surprising fold.
I don't see how you could defend the fours as a profitable fold.
Oh no, me either. But this one I can. This one even less so. At least Bill's the limpery raise. You're out of position. I still think it's a clear call. Don't get me wrong. But this hand feels like on the button with Blake limping. Blake limps a lot. Like there's no real concern about him re-raising, and you're on the button. Just feels like pretty easy. Anyway, didn't happen. We're moving on.
60.
There's the guys.
Yep.
Is this gonna really happen? Yes.
The M5 is really feeling it.
It's a raise.
We've got some opposite philosophies sitting right next to each other.
Yeah.
He does not. When Stewart looks at his chips, he is betting.
And he's just gonna take it down.
It's pretty hard for you to see that sitting in that seat.
I was doing this.
Oh, okay.
Are you?
And David's glasses were reflective, so it works.
Yeah, that works.
I know. We're friends. It's fine.
Hey.
Very.
Lucky and Yoshi, the only two left now.
So if you had to nominate one of these players who could look someone in the eye and choke them to death and never have any just no issue with it, who would it be?
Bill.
Bill. There he is. Yep, I can see that.
He can go hiking with you. You can go to Vegas.
Blake opens to 35.
He loves BMWs in Vegas. He does love BMWs.
DM5 gonna put in the 3-bet at a very inopportune time.
Well, they're so deep. I would expect Blake is mostly calling here and not
DM5
4-betting.
has a hand that plays well post flop, so this could really work out well for him.
Yeah, he's got position as
Well,
well.
that's indicative of.
Blake will call with just ace high on a lot of boards, though, which is problematic for DM5.
But will he call multiple streets? Because we know DM5. Whoa, oh my
Well, I
goodness.
think DM5 would like some calls now. Blake
This
with
is-
top, DM5 with the 9-high flush.
There is no chance Blake is folding anytime soon. It's going to take another heart probably to get him to fold. I guess the sizing later on in the hand he might be able to get away, but that is just an unfair
Looks
flop.
like Blake
is he raising?
raising.
Wow.
That's a lie.
40.
Well, DM5 certainly will not be folding, but he doesn't love getting raised on this board.
I think it's a pretty clear call and not re-raise.
Yes, absolutely. If you re-raise, you might only be getting action from better hands.
Yeah, or hands at least that have great equity against you, like sets.
Another deuce. So
That's
not
good for
not a
Blake.
hand that DM5 loves, a card that DM5 loves to see. Blake could have fives full now.
Blake is
Quad
looks like he's
deuces.
going to fire. Is that 350?
So Blake here, he's charging the ace of hearts, and he's trying to get value out of hands like king, queen,
Yep.
Or queens with a queen of hearts, maybe.
I wonder what Blake's plan would be were DM5 to raise here. I don't expect him to raise, of course.
I don't think you can profitably raise the 9 high flush on this card.
No way. Blake does pick up some outs, of course, as well with this card, which is good for him. Any king, any deuce will get him out of this mess. That didn't happen.
It's an 8.
And Blake's going to fire again.
This must just be a blocker bet. Yep,
Yeah.
It looks like 325 again, and it
Let's see
might
what
be a
DM5
pretty
does.
effective blocker bet because I don't see DM5 raising.
I agree. Like, Blake could have better flushes, and because the board's paired, be betting that much. Wow. These guys started with about the same amount of chips in front of them, and now look at the difference in their stack sizes.
Yeah, that was a big one. Blake did control the size of his pot after the check raise by betting small.
But if he just gone call, he would have probably lost less, having said that. But he was trying to, like, you know, charge the draws and take control of the
DM5
hand.
might have sized it real big on the river, and if Blake heroed, it might have ended up being a bigger pot.
I would guess Blake would have heroed most of the time with that hand.
Yeah.
Not unreasonable. You don't have the ace of hearts in your hand. That's good.
Yeah,
right?
that is good.
It's DM5.
That's a
I don't see-
reason.
I don't
That's
say
always
you
a
just
reason to
throw it
call.
away. Yeah. DM5 keeps getting there one way or another.
He's gonna limp the bad unsuited ace again.
Ace king.
Timur's got ace jack, and he's going to just limp as well, surprisingly.
Seems like a great time to isolate DM5's incredibly wide range.
Yep. You're almost always going to get called, but that's okay. Turn it down to 675, by the way.
Glad I didn't size it up there.
Checks through, and there's a straight for BMW Blake.
And he's got it locked up.
No one else has anything, though.
Nobody has any draw that can beat him, any hand that can beat him.
It's just going to be over in a hurry, it looks
Bill
like.
could call, but no.
Just over 14K in the pot. The turn is the 4 of diamonds.
Hey, what is that? Speaking of turn, coming around the mountain? Is that the Nitrogen Sports Poker train?
I think they did buy a train recently.
If you listen, you can hear its very familiar jingle. And choo-choo. Wait, there's the jingle. Nitro, nitro, nitro. Nitro, nitro, nitro.
Wow, that's the weirdest ad ever all of a sudden. Anyway, Nitrogen Sports Poker Room is, they let us do ads like this.
They
Perhaps
do.
because they don't listen to them.
Free reign, baby. Nitro, nitro, nitro. Nitro, nitro, nitro.
Zach doesn't travel.
I could jump on that.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that for sure.
We'll shoot some hoops, have the basket in front of the house. You can see them five.
We can do that for sure.
My kid would love to show him.
Queen 9 of spades. All right, he's going to open this one.
Okay.
That's always fun. Yeah.
He's just talking slowly enough that he'd give himself a chance to pick up a hand.
Blake out of the small blind, calling Queen 8 off.
Yeah.
The wheels might be falling off.
Yeah, possibly. And it's a queen.
But there's also an ace, which will probably save Blake from too much pain.
Yeah, maybe
There's also a lot of chops in the future.
Might be a one street only kind of a thing.
This
for
is
Blake
certainly the
here.
type of hand that should check this board as Matt Vaughan. Makes sense.
Yeah, Blake's going to bet. He does have the best hand a fair amount.
Yeah, this is a lot of protection.
Stewart can, of course, have him beat in all sorts of ways.
Matt could also, but it's unlikely.
Matt has some queens, pocket kings, some aces, a few other things. But right now, Blake can reasonably think he's ahead some of the time.
Another ace on the river.
He has the
means
queen of diamonds in
both
his hand.
of these players are a little more confident with their hand now.
Goes check, check, and only one street. Look at Matt Vaughan's face.
You don't expect to pip the guy when you have Queen 9, but
It's pretty amazing. You see Matt's face even when it went check, check. He sort of couldn't believe
yeah,
he got to win.
I think Blake announced a queen, so
Yeah.
Matt's like, "Oh, I lose all the time."
Yep.
Turns out, nope.
Just some of the time, Matt. Matt, you're wrong again, Matt. Why don't you vlog about that?
Yeah, you crap knuckle.
Wow.
Is that a thing that people say?
Only in certain parts of Baltimore, which is where he's from.
That's true. It is.
So it's perfect. He
So
knows what you
he'll
mean.
truly get it and internalize how much I mean it.
Yeah, maybe he can, write
Learn-
about it or
learn
something.
from this.
That would be good too, but it's unlikely.
All right, the Rooster's getting involved. He's been very tight so far.
Matt Vaughan, of course, did some commentary with us recently.
Yeah, he was in one of the Poker Time episodes, actually the one featuring our biggest pot ever.
Yeah.
With Timur against Wonka.
The $9,000 pot, full house against full house.
Top for the Rooster.
He checks it 4 ways.
That is a bit odd. I guess he maybe is expecting Blake to bet a lot of hands. He's going to bet his middle pair, which makes plenty of sense here.
It really does.
You could probably check raise against Blake specifically with this hand.
Yeah.
Just going to call, though.
You're almost always ahead here, especially against Blake.
Slightly coordinated card. A
Yeah.
little scary for ace jack, but certainly
Blake bets again.
there's no folding here as the Rooster.
I'm surprised Blake bets again here. I would assume he's going to insta-check the river.
Yeah, this maybe is just setting up a check on the river. He's hoping for a check on the river.
8-9 does get there, and it was a double getter on the flop, so that is a hand that is reasonable. That's a great card for Joseph, though.
An unlikely card to have affected the hand.
Yeah. 8-6. That's the only thing you're losing to there.
4-6. Blake could easily have 4-6. It's Blake.
How about pocket sixes? Could have that.
No, it's too good.
When you say good, you mean morally, of course.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you say it's too
Righteous.
well.
I mean,
too well.
I mean like righteous
Yeah.
and pure.
You know, guys, you may know Grant from such things as the Poker Guys and the book we wrote, How Can He Fold?
Where's this going?
Things like that. But he also has a whole book series on righteousness, which I will say, you know, they say write about what you know.
I don't think this bit's going anywhere.
I'm done. I'm already done.
Bet 105.
Did you turn a flush draw?
DM5. Gonna call the 35 under the gun raise from Dan with queen 3 suited. We don't see it on the screen there, but Digital Dan did raise under the gun to 35. And DM5 decided to call out of the small blind.
I mean, this is
I'm
what he
not
does.
making this up.
This is what he does, and he does find ways to win his more than his share of pots. That's all I'm saying. This is absolutely unusual.
And he's got Dan outkicked here somehow. He's called.
He's got 2 back doors. That is now an open ender. His queen will play almost always. A 10 or a jack would mean that it's a chop, but
Drink with the price of admission. Is that the way it works? I didn't get mine. Do you?
nope.
It's a 7.
Neither player really thinks they're in good shape here, I assume. Dan could only be trying to turn his 3 into a bluff if he bets, but he decides to take his equity and
Fold. Call. Call.
Dan can only beat pocket deuces there. It's really hard to come with any other hand.
I mean, I guess
Dan
deuce
five could
3
chop.
is there, but then they chop.
Yeah.
Dan raised to 35. Everybody folded. Back to David.
That'd be something if he turned up with deuce 3, though, wouldn't it? It happens.
I mean, he has queen 3, so.
It's a different hand, but, you know, if it's suited, he probably calls that too, right?
Dan bets 50. Call.
I don't know. In like 2008, suited connectors were all the rage because of Daniel Negreanu. Deuce 3 suited was getting played from Hong Kong to Alberta, Canada.
It was suited like 3 gappers were getting played because of Daniel Negreanu.
Yeah.
The old 10-7 off, you know, my favorite hand.
No, suited was his favorite
Was
hand.
it suited?
Yeah.
Stuart continues his
Negreanu is
isolating.
not like a dum-dum who's going to choose an unsuited favorite hand. How dare you?
I really am upset that you're calling everyone who does choose unsuited favorite hands dum-dums.
Well,
I think that's a problem. And I think you need to work on things. Anyway, BMW Blake.
I think if you have a favorite hand, you should shut up about it. That's what I think.
I have a favorite hand.
Is it pocket aces?
No.
What is it then?
It's Queen Jack suited.
You should shut up about it.
You asked me about it.
Yeah, but I still feel that way.
Stuart flops well, takes it down. We move on. Not a huge amount of fireworks yet. We've seen a few big hands, but nothing world-ending. I guess Mo got his world ended early.
He got his world cracked in half by an asteroid.
It's a pretty small world or a pretty big asteroid for that to happen, but, you know.
And
I'm just saying. Mostly asteroids just
if
make
it happened,
the Grand Canyon, you know.
You think an asteroid made the Grand Canyon?
What do you think, the dinosaurs?
No,
You're wrong.
the river.
Yeah, but what do you think made the place where the river went? Asteroids.
I mean, if you want to call that a win, yeah.
You're a
Did
true,
you-
you're a true
I was
geologist.
gonna say, did you take geology?
I did not, but
So you're an expert somehow.
so you're gonna take. And let me be clear about this. You're gonna take
Yeah.
the Grand Canyon was made by asteroids. I'll take river.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. And I want to say this: asteroids who are like thinking about it. You know what I mean? There's some thought behind it for
Yeah.
the asteroids. They sentient asteroids because it's so beautiful. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, so Bill's raising here.
Yep. Bill is just saying, I don't believe you, and guess what? He's right.
It's a polarizing board when you raise. It's really hard for DM5 to call with too much. And he is wide. Bill somehow has a worse hand than DM5 has. It's so hard to do. He does have the backdoor flush draw, I guess. But
Word on the street.
The blazer factor.
Fold. Call. Fold.
there you go, though. Bill just stealing.
Bill loves thievery. Loves it.
I know. It's crazy. His favorite movie? Italian Job.
I thought it was The Score.
Heist. That's a good one, too. Danny DeVito's in that one.
Ocean's 12, widely renowned as the best Ocean's
Ugh,
movie.
You joke, obviously.
You
Because it's
couldn't-
the worst.
Yeah, I know. I think that was implicit.
Yeah, it was. I just want to make sure everyone knew.
Because you hate it so actively, you couldn't let that
It
one
was
get through. You
bad.
couldn't let that one get through.
It was real bad.
13 wasn't bad.
13 was all right.
Yeah.
Raise. 135. 130.
I can't wait for 18. Ocean's 18.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really good one again. And he hoots and hollers.
We got some bad hands here. DM5 has just gone ahead and checked heads up. It's kind of strange.
Digital Dan decides to take a shot.
I mean, he's got nothing. It's a good time to take a shot.
And it is going to work.
I am surprised DM5 having open pre-flop just checked on that relatively dry board when he had a heads up.
Maybe it's because he just got check raised on the last hand and he's feeling like
People are coming after
people
him.
are going to be a little more apt to
Yeah.
come after him since they just saw it work. So he's just trying to tighten up slightly. That's all I got.
guess.
That's all I got.
Queen high dry board, though. Pretty great c-bet.
Yep. Maybe it feels like he's playing a lot of hands. He's trying to tighten up. I mean, how long will that last? How long does it take for ice cream to melt in the sun? You know?
The Antarctic sun? Quite a while.
Speaking of having a plan, BMW Blake with the king 9 off. Going to come in, raising under the gun.
Why did you say speaking of having a plan?
Because you were talking about the wheels coming off at one point not too long ago.
Uh,
So I'm implying something.
okay.
That's all. Here's the Rooster with the ace-4 of diamonds.
Stuart knows I don't play tight. It's like
It's true. You don't.
Rooster wearing that very yellow sweatshirt. He's
Yeah, like
peacocking
a-
a little bit.
like
I
a-
know he's the Rooster.
Like a baby chick.
yeah,
You saw one
peacocking. Diamonds for the Rooster.
Gut shot for BMW Blake.
Middle pair for Bill.
Cock-a-doodle bet.
they said Big O runs around here. Does that play tomorrow?
Bill's hand could be best, but it's a tough hand to play against future aggression. I think it's fine just to fold.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a pretty clear fold.
Blake going to see if he can hit a jack here.
He does have the king of diamonds, which gives him a little extra.
Whoa, the jack
Wow.
of diamonds. So Blake hits the card. He also has the king of diamonds, as you mentioned, but he's drawing dead. And the Rooster checks it back.
What is...
Oh,
Oh!
well, now Blake's going to lose a bet.
Blake has to believe he has the best hand until, until big money goes in.
Which is a fine game, but
Boy, the Rooster missed an opportunity to really build a pot here.
Yeah.
He probably would have gotten it all.
105, so the 130. So the Rooster's probably going to make it something like 330. And then Blake's just going to have to make a decision.
Blake generally will call in these spots.
Looks
Yep,
like he
insta
called.
call.
Yeah. How much did he make it? 310.
310. Sort of sucks to have the second nuts there. Or effectively the second nuts. It's not actually the second nuts, I guess.
I appreciate that Blake doesn't slow the game down at all, but I do think when he gets raised on the river there, he might need to take a little more time. He might ultimately decide to call anyway, but maybe think about how tight the Rooster's been playing and not playing many hands. And
I mean, he doesn't know as we know
Yeah.
much more than he does, but all he can
True.
beat is a bluff.
Yeah,
there.
and
that's an important point.
And a 4-flush board without any pair on it is a very difficult board to find a reasonable bluffing hand on.
And let's not forget, Rooster didn't raise huge. It looks like he's trying to get called,
Yeah.
right? It was 130 and he made it 310.
Yep.
I mean, you can level yourself into anything.
All that
of
said, you have
course.
to call with something according to
course.
GTO theories, but
Yeah, you do. You have to call sometimes with the king of diamonds for sure. That's an exploitative fold you'd be
Yeah.
making. But that said, you can usually fold a lot exploitatively on the river when you get raised. Like there aren't too many bluffs that people have, you know.
especially that type of board, like I said, it's very difficult to think of the type of what type of hand is a bluffing hand.
Yeah,
Just a random 2 cards.
right. Yeah, if he doesn't have a diamond, he's got a. Blake also had raised under the gun. Blake
Yep.
has the ace of diamonds in his range very
Yep.
strongly.
You could really consider folding. Anyway, Digital Dan flopping the nut flush draw here. Nothing much else for anybody else.
Gut shot for Timur. But with all these people behind him and the weak nature of his hand,
DM5 with King 3, but not going to call with bottom pair. The digital one takes it down.
there you go, Dan.
White Claw Wednesday. I didn't
Yeah,
know
Dan,
there
stop
was a-
complaining.
I mean, but there ought to be.
Boy, if the Rooster bet that turn when the Jack of Diamonds came,
He might have gotten it all.
I think he gets it all. Blake has about 1,000 back. Like he might get raised there, and if not, a lot of money's going to go on in the river too.
Or 2.
You can't just have
Not
one.
3, though.
I'm not a jockey. I'm not a
Dreads the
jockey.
line.
Not that you should always bet when you get there, but
That seemed like a spot to do it.
it was a reasonable spot to do it for sure. I mean, there's a lot of very strong second best hands there, right? When you have the
Yeah.
when you have the nuts, specifically the nut flush.
All right. 20 for Timur. You like that?
That's cool.
You want to stay on that. Don't hit.
Because we're talking about blackjack. BMW Blake called with 4 deuce off out of the small blind. Just to be clear, that's not a typo
He
or a
did flop
mistake.
before.
It looks like he just threw it away right away anyway. So he flopped middle pair and folded after calling
That is
the raise.
odd to fold there.
I don't understand why you do that. I don't understand why you would do either of those two decisions. They are foreign to me. They are outside of my realm of understanding.
Yes.
They live in a different region than I live in.
Yeah.
Where are your tickets, Mike?
210. One of the corners.
The Rooster, despite his tightness, is having quite a good session so far.
Yeah.
Anytime he can give them to me, I go.
Say we sell a bunch of them, so.
Fold. His are like 12 rows behind the Blazers bench, right there. Raise 35.
I like this call a lot more than the 4 deuce.
Yep.
Looks like DM5 would have had King Queen of Hearts, but he wasn't there.
I live in Maryland right now.
But never mind. Doesn't matter anyway.
Oh, okay. Soon? Pretty soon?
Dan going to c-bet, probably just going to take it down.
Hard
Yep.
to get a lot of value on that c-bet. I guess
Yeah.
diamonds and
People do thank me.
pocket pairs can
From
call
a
you.
metagame perspective and a GTO perspective, I mean, that board is to your advantage as the opener, so
Yeah,
it makes
that's
sense
fair.
to c-bet.
Sure.
That said, you should probably have pieces of your range that you check, and that would be a reasonable piece of your range to put in the check range.
You have to be able to check some of your top pairs for
Yeah.
sure. So a weak top pair is not too bad to check. That said, you don't have a diamond. Maybe if you have a diamond in your hand,
Yeah.
but usually you're not. If you open where you open, you're
Then
going
it's
to
not
have
a
2
weak-
diamonds
then
or
it's
1
not a weak
diamond.
top
Yeah.
pair.
Yeah.
One of the better window cards.
You either have a flush draw or you that's the only way you have a diamond, unless it's a big one like you're saying. Yeah.
I play most of Maryland live because it's closest, pretty much closest to where I live. And
Dan limping under the gun with the ace jack
Huh.
off.
Weird.
Different strategy from Dan. Looks like Bill's going to raise to
Wow.
30. He's like, this digital guy can't handle me.
Wow. Blake's going to call with the King 10, and
they're starting to run 5-10 again.
if you were thinking the game was in the muck for any reason, the game is out of the muck.
Here comes the Rooster.
Kind of bigger games when they open.
Digital Dan somehow has way the best of it here. He's got 39% equity 4 ways. It's pretty good.
No limit. And then both properties.
And he has the best of it currently, but of course Blake is open-ended.
5 cards real low.
An ace would be pretty devastating for Dan.
That would be a bad card, yeah. Said it's a 4. The Rooster now open-ended.
Checks again, and it's probably time for Dan to start betting. This is a pretty wet board.
He got the go-ahead by everybody checking behind.
Yep. No way Blake's going to just throw this away, I'll say that.
Bill might call as well with a 6. Decides against it with a bunch of players behind.
Would be the first mark. I guess they play on the East Coast too. I don't know. I'll be on the East Coast.
Now the Rooster looks like he's thinking about raising because he's obviously never going to fold here, right? Oh, I'm just wrong again.
That is just an odd fold.
He's getting 4.5 to 1.
Definitely good enough.
That is surprising.
In the end, he would have lost.
Yep, he did say $50, but wow.
I don't know if Dan could profitably bet. He could try to get called by a weaker jack, but you think Blake would probably bet those on the flop most of the time?
Here's the problem. If Blake's checking back his straight draws so quickly, then Dan probably does need to bet to try and get called by a jack.
That's probably true. But also, knowing Blake, I think if he had jack 10 or something like that, he would have bet the flop in position.
That's an interesting point. Dan's probably just trying to control the pot there just in case, right?
Check, check. Check.
I learned something.
Matt Vaughan and the Broken Camera. It's a children's book.
Matt Vaughan and the zipper on his arm. That's the sequel.
That's the adult version.
I mean, look at that zipper.
It is illicit.
It's crazy. It's Michael Jackson-esque.
It's perverse.
I'm staying away from that.
Yeah, that seems normal for you.
Thanks. Let's see how Dan sizes this here. Should be pretty big, like 60 or something.
Looks like 40. 45 maybe?
Someone else said it was an unfortunate accident.
Bill can't fold his ace-7.
An object knocked it out of my hand.
The bluff would have worked.
Joseph Solon, those other hands, I'd be shocked to see him call 9-5 off here.
Recording one-handed, just knocked it straight out of my hand with the lens out, which I've dropped the camera before, but never with the lens open.
Not really. Well, Digital Dan does have a royal flush draw, but so does Bill.
That is pretty
Neither
crazy.
of them are making a royal flush, but they both kind of love the flop. I think Bill likes it better than Dan.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The 9 of clubs would certainly be quite a card.
It sure would. That would be the best card ever.
I think Dan should keep going here. He has a second nut flush draw. He could get Bill to fold a lot of jacks and queens, maybe even a king if he bet again.
Also, when it goes check, if they were to improve, and Dan does improve here, it's going to be harder to get called later. Now, it turns out he can't get called.
He wasn't
anyway,
going to get called
but that's
anyway,
not the point.
yeah.
The story that he's telling now is if he suddenly comes out and bets again now. It's just
Oh, he doesn't.
interesting.
Trying to get Bill to take a shot.
Bill does like to steal. We're looking at Dan, though. Alma. Can we? Okay, Bill does bet 150. Super easy play
Easy
for
call,
Dan.
yep.
He could have even raised, but a call definitely makes the most sense here.
Finally, Bill got looked up.
Yeah.
No, there was no need to.
Boy, they could have put it all in on the flop.
Yep.
Wow, there was only one. There were 1.3K back there on the flop. Man, they could have put it in the flop on the turn. Dan could have bet. Bill could have raised. I mean,
Lots of
all
things
these
could
ways,
happen,
all this action that could have happened there. That was a big setup that neither guy decided to go for.
If Joseph is going to go by the Rooster, don't you think when he enters a pot, he should be like, "Here comes the Rooster!" Kind of like in an AC/DC voice.
I would love it if that happened. By the way, Timur, not under the gun. It's a lie.
Also, I guess this is the only camera we have left.
At least it's a good view of the Rooster. Here comes the Rooster. oh, I want it so bad now. I really need that to happen at some point in the future. So BMW Blake, by the way, apparently raised at 35 with Queen 6 off. I just need to say it out loud.
Nope, he didn't.
Okay, fabulous.
DM5 did play Queen 6 suited, though.
Right, it looks like Stewart opened threes. That makes a lot more sense.
And Timur's in there, too. But
Timur
we
has
don't
ace
have-
queen. No, he has ace queen. That's what I said before.
It's a whole disaster we have going on over here.
Alma, I really hate to fire people mid-broadcast, but
There's
you're in
only
trouble.
like 1 or 2 hands left.
You're still in trouble.
We can
And
let- we
you know
can
what?
let
You're
her-
fired. Get out of here. Pack up your stuff.
All right, I guess we'll have to do it ourselves for the last couple of hands. Thanks,
No,
Jonathan.
We'll just stick on this camera angle. It's fine. Oh, apparently almost. She's committed to the show. That's great.
Yeah.
She's gonna keep doing the work, even though we're not paying you anymore, or before, by the way. But she didn't know that. She wasn't aware.
I I was thinking about
when Joseph wins a pot, you should say Rooster smack.
What? Smack.
Rooster smack. You got Rooster smacked.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can do that, I guess.
Here comes the rooster.
Rooster smacked.
Yeah.
There's so many other things he can say.
Yeah, I know. But he's like a deranged WWE character.
Yeah. He should get a mask then, too.
That's my best version of AC/DC voice. I know it's not perfect.
It's pretty good.
Although he could get there.
Oh, Vaughn's going to play back against DM. Oh, no, he's
Well.
not. He said only because you're doing 100% of my big ones. I thought that meant he was raising.
No, he said, all right, but only because, yeah. Nothing for nobody.
Check,
5
check.
doesn't continue, and both players have a spade.
Vaughan looks like he's just going to bet 1/3 pot here. Going to get called.
Well, I think he's interesting because whether he hits or he misses, he may feel obligated to keep going. I guess if he hits a spade, he's going to check, but
Yeah, I think he's checking.
yeah.
But now that he hasn't hit,
He actually might bet a spade, too, trying to get called by
Well-
worse spades, but
this is probably going to work. I don't see. Yep.
Yeah.
And that is the last hand.
yeah. Matt Vaughan is going to show the bluff.
We'll see you guys next week for a little more Matt Vaughan bluffing.
Sounds good.
Fold, fold, fold. Raise.